Well, thanks. It's like in my face, man. Hi, everybody. How do I...
There you go.
Ah, okay.
Yep.
All righty. So, hi, I'm so happy to be here. I'm happy it's a nice day. Or I probably wouldn't be here. Robert knows.
I know.
He knows. It has to be perfection for me to leave my house, even though I am trying to get out of it. Okay, so the first poem I'm going to read I wrote at a Buddhist temple that I was at a service. God, I can't see. This is awful. I have to hold it up to my face. There it is. It's called The Ocean of Illusion. Drowning in samsara, I despise my ideal teachers, cruel mothers, angry brothers, false friends, dishonorable employers, Carlos Castaneda's petty tyrants, all those I blame. Compassion whispers, this is your assignment. Wish them joy, wish them healing, wish them awakening, wish them kindness, wish them peace. Swim in nirvana, breathe serenity, embrace gentleness, embody gratitude, surrender fear. When love beckons, open fully. Okay, and this is the one poem I've written recently. You'll be happy to know. The whole thing is dedicated to Robert Milby, without whom I would not be here. Okay, it's called Selling My Past. This is about plotting my escape. I'm selling my past, my grandparents' 1930s bungalow I bought from Uncle Ed, built of cardboard boxes, bricks, patriarchal depression, and ersatz love. I'm selling my past, my drafty old childhood home, a tree-shaded monument, alive with phantom wars between Mimi and Max. I plan to open tomorrow's door unattached to yesterday, except for a memory stuffed with lessons learned, wrap myself in fiction and ancient poems about a familiar woman I may have been. And one of the reasons I was rifling through all this poetry when other people were reading, which was extremely rude, is that I was looking for the one poem I wrote during the Richard Nixon debacle.
Which one?
The one that ended his presidency. However, I couldn't find it, which is so annoying. Anyway, so I did write this one poem, not quite as political, not quite political at all, but whatever. It's called Duality. Abby Hoffman said you can't have an anti-war movement without war. Mother Teresa wouldn't have worked without the wretched, hungry, poor, and sick. Physicians need illness, sanitation men, trash. In China, I once heard, doctors are paid only if their patients remain healthy. That's it. It's my 60s poem. And the rest of the poems will, and will you give me a warning when I'm taking too much time? Okay, the rest of my poems are from Poems from a Previous Self. I'm getting ready to publish my next book, which is Poems from a Previous Self 2. It's all right, I see that gigantic star, I get it. Okay, so these poems were written for my daughter. I was married to an Irish Catholic. That'll explain most of this, I think. I was of Russian extraction. So it's called a combination plate, and it's a triolet, which is a short, usually witty poem. This may not be that witty, although my grandson thought this was hilarious. The name derives from a repetition of the key line 3 times. Of the triolet's 8 lines, the first line is used 3 times, so I'm not just repeating myself for no reason. And the second line is repeated twice. My daughter's name is Kyla. Kyla is a combination plate, one from column A, one from column B. She chose her dishes carefully. Kyla is a combination plate, plum pudding and kidney pie, a side of pierogies and borscht. That's what my grandson thought was so funny. Kyla is a combination plate, one from column A, one from column B. And the next one is also about Kyla, and it's called Kyla, 1993. You left home, precipitating quakes unreported in the Times, imprinted in hot type on my heart. After a year, tremors lessened. We reached out to touch across a widening chasm. I keep my face pressed against the window of your life. And the next one is called Family Secret. It's about my mother. No one admits why, a month after my birth, they took you away to Kings Park Hospital. Strapped to a gurney 60 times, head shaved, electrodes studded, they erased you, left you empty of memory, a discarded jewelry box, one flake of glitter clung to torn silk lining. 9 months later, you came home, faced a toddling stranger, a daily reminder of disavowed shame. And now we're skipping many, many years, and it's called My Dead Mother. My dead mother visits me disguised as a rental tenant, who complains daily, refuses resolution, inflicts mysteriously motivated punishments, threatens lawsuits and abandonment, inhabits unpacked moving boxes and distorted beliefs instead of the light I offer. My dead mother inhabits raging boyfriends who abuse my trust, turn their self-loathing into indictments of my imperfections, build walls of revisionist history, stomp out, never speak to me again. My dead mother appears as a friend whose abrupt disdain reminds me there's no such thing as unconditional love. My dead mother returns when I struggle to convince you I'm right, by turning up the volume, by repeating my words, by torrential tears, by not letting you crutch your own paradigm as I cling to mine. My dead mother invades my mouth, spewing toxic commentary, licensed to kill any possibility you'll care. My dead mother departed June 14th, 2008, her luggage bursting with shameful secrets, distorted memories, fear, self-hatred, manipulation, grandiose judgments. Ditched cluttered rooms, chaotic drawers, truncated dreams for me to sort. Next one is also about my mother. It's called Liberation. My mother isn't in the long pine box that fills a 6x4 trench next to my father's at Bethel Cemetery on North Orange. She's not in the plain pine box. She's drifted through incomprehensible veils the night she left. Next day, she attended her wake, clothed as a double rainbow. Plain pine doesn't hold her. Visit the stone, read its chiseled myth, but no, plain pine couldn't contain her. She wanders now, grown vast as the universe. And this one is called The Father I Had. The father I had, ominous sky, empty chair, broken dam, turned back, is dead. The father I didn't have, abundant feast, open door, flowing river, secure cave, is dead. And moving right along, this one is about my ex-husband, called Temptation. After 15 years, my ex-husband maneuvers his 1995 Pontiac back to my life. Fenders dented by collisions, with psychotic second wife, 2 more children, swing sets, computers, Fresno. I crumple page 1 of this morning's Times to clean his windshield, help him see. I've missed owning a car. In Park Slope, I lug fresh food and cat food up the half-mile hill from 7th Avenue to my apartment. It would be easy to relax in his passenger seat, be chauffeured to the apple tree fruit stand. I know, car ownership ties you down. Upkeep, fuel, payments due. I'll long for the days I didn't think about alternate side of the street parking. My ex-husband in his 1995 Pontiac had better cruise on by. And this is a more recent man that I was involved with. It's called Lesson Learned. One year, it was in late springtime, belligerents asked me out to dine. He hooked me with a cunning line. I thought he was exceeding fine. His mythic visions mirrored mine. His reason seemed to fit my rhyme. I dreamed his advent was a sign. As summer jogged toward autumn trees, as fragrant flowers beckoned bees, denial brought me to my knees. No way my logic could appease his rage, as huge as many seas. I cowered till I couldn't breathe. One snowy day asked him to leave. Another year is all but gone, my life serene, I'm moving on. Kindness visits, gentle, calm, quiet, tender, helpful, warm. When he departs, my spirit's strong. He will return, I needn't long. Meanwhile, I hum a fierce new song. How am I doing?
10 more minutes.
Okay. What was that? Okay. This is called Janus Revisited, and this is what was published in the New Press in Brooklyn. Janus Revisited. The right ear dreams of seduction, the left ear courts rejection. The right ear hears sexual music, the left sour notes. The right ear won't argue, the left defends positions. The right ear is willing, pliant, the left must win. The right ear believes in happy endings. The left has been around long enough to know there are none. And Park Slope bike ride. Summer grabs my handlebars, urges me to ride faster, keep up with morning sunshine blueness, window box begonias, trees, green grass, bare brown arms, sweaty sandaled feet, mushy asphalt streets, parks inhabited, convertibles utilized, easy in, easy out days. And to go along with that, I want to live in July. I want to live in July, dress in t-shirts, shorts, sandals, sweltering smiles. I want to live in July, fans whir, air conditioners roar, obliterate memory. I want to live in July, iced coffee breakfasts, fruit salad lunches, blue blown glass sky, heat, kidnap, sleep, and neighbors. I want to live in July, awaken to tingle, shock, lightning's thunder, soothed to sleep by downpour's lullaby. I want to live in July, dream of empty beaches, unself-conscious bodies slipped together. I want to live in July, hear hot air whisper, promises never fulfilled. And this one is called Birds Fly, and it's also the one that was recently published in, the last one that was mentioned, which is not on mine. Never mind. I'll think of it. It's called Birds Fly, and that comes from a quote by a man named Thomas Pauley, who said, "Birds fly, fish swim, humans dream." I dream alternate lives. 1. Sell my house, sullen child's collateral. Bag and dump, self-loathing, resentments, fears, huge leather sofa unfit for a vegetarian. Load 2010 Nissan Cube with cat, jeans, t-shirts, sketch pad, yellow paper-made sharpwriters, MacBook Pro, hard-earned wisdom. Head southwest, tank filled with freedom. Leave behind unmarked potholed memories. Go home to Santa Fe or Sedona. Trust gentler lessons await. Hold my breath, won't exhale till red sky dusks forecast leafy springtimes to follow my lifetime of rain. 2. Sell property in Port Jervis, Nissan Cube. Give away blank watercolor paper, canvases, paints, crayons, pastels, found objects, desaturated colors, fantasies of fame. Leave behind dead parents, aunts and uncles, former friends, previous selves. Ship cat and self to Paris. Live in the Marais or on Boulevard Saint-Michel near Les Deux Majots. Write fierce, nostalgic poems, mail them to strangers. 3. Rent my house to grateful ghosts. Sell Nissan Cube, keep cat. Give up art. Pack myself in a tiny tote bag. Store thoughts in MacBook Pro. Head east to New York City, my former and future home. Forget who I thought I was. Become a poet. That's it. Okay. I beg your pardon? You betcha. I agree. Although from New York you can easily get to Paris. Okay. I'm going to read a memorial poem I wrote for a man that I knew. It's called Illustration of Allen, Friend and American Art Dealer, 1941 to 1997. If you are a drawing, it's a Gibson pen and ink, elegant, aristocratic, with a subtle sense of humor. If you are clothing, you're a size extra long Levi's, big and tall Eddie Bauer shirt, thick boot socks, size 14 alligator cowboy boots, unworn woven straw hat. You are a radio tuned to Newark 88.3 FM R&B, playing Etta James's song, All I Could Do Is Cry. If you are a meal, your iced tea, 2 Taco Bell burritos, tasty cakes, and no salad. You are a journey to Brimfield's antique shows on a hot July day, or through Nashville, visiting Opryland Hotel, stopping at every discount outlet on the way to Boca Raton. You're a Plymouth Voyager big enough to hold your 2 children, 3 Norman Rockwell sketches, early American dough table, tramp art wire cars, and a generous spirit. If you are laughter, you're hysterical, high-pitched, fall-on-the-floor contagious, watching a Seinfeld episode. You are 2 apartments on East 78th Street, obstacle course floors covered with 100 collectible flag stands, windows crammed with heirloom hyacinth vases, walls hung with American illustrations, and a chalk bust of Uncle Sam. If you are a painting, it's Howard Chandler Christie's You're in Our Hearts. If you are a telephone call, it ends with, I love you. Okay, how to meet a familiar man in a strange city. 1. Lie awake 4 nights wondering why he wants you there. 2. Throw runes 3 times hoping the oracle will answer. 3. Buy unnecessary new clothes, talisman against fear. 4. Pack bags with new green sweater, red skirt, woolen mini dress, black teddy, recycled hope. 5. Fly on People's Express, the cheap dates airline. 6. Arrive in Denver, pretend you do this every day. Flight to Denver. On the plane to meet you in Denver, I fly over America as dots of light below shimmer a warning. Neat 10-point letters on the seatback sign request me to fasten seatbelt while seated. I obey. Trapped. I imagine your brown fedora shading opaque blue eyes. Thick gnarled hands clench and unclench. Anticipate my arrival. Relive this morning's long-distance argument. Okay. All right, how am I doing? 1? 1 long or too short?
Well, too short.
Oh, it's such a hard choice. Okay. This is called Rebellious Wife at Heaven's Gate, and it's a girlfriend of mine who divorced her husband in Israel, which you're not allowed to do because they call you a rebellious wife unless your husband agrees to it. So, Rebellious Wife at Heaven's Gate. Judith shows up one day at the gate of heaven, the pearly gates. I see here in the book, says St. Peter, that you were a rebellious wife. Left your husband and took the 2 daughters, refused to come back even though he begged. You were unfaithful, fornicated without benefit of divorce, found other men more sensual than your husband, flaunted your freedom, emptied the bank account, bought new furniture. I hereby sentence you to stay in heaven with bereft husbands whose wives have been consigned to hell. You will cook, clean, admire their wit, tell them they're wonderful. You will let them watch any TV show they want. You'll grocery shop for beer and chips on Super Bowl Sunday. You will never nag or complain, though they pay no attention to you. You will be grateful to be needed. Judith wailed, fell prostrate at St. Peter's feet, begged to be sent to hell with the other rebellious wives. Please, I'll take any punishment. But please don't leave me here to wait on these wronged men. They'll ignore me, make me cook meatloaf and mashed potatoes, account for every penny I spend. They won't let me talk on the phone. Oh, please, send me to hell. St. Peter said, no, we must make an example of you. And that's how Judith got to heaven. I'm afraid I must do one more, because I always end with this. And to do this, I need Father Bob. What Father Bob is going to read is a poem by Ellen Bass, and what I'm going to read is my response.
The title is Relax. Bad things are going to happen. Your tomatoes will grow a fungus and your cat will get run over. Someone will leave the bag with the ice cream melting in the car and throw your blue cashmere sweater in the dryer. Your husband will sleep with a girl your daughter's age, her breast spilling out of her blouse. Or your wife will remember she's a lesbian and leave you for the woman next door. The other cat, the one you never really liked, will contract a disease that requires you to pry open its feverish mouth every 4 hours. Your parents will die. No matter how many vitamins you take, how much Pilates, you'll lose your keys, your hair, and your memory. If your daughter doesn't plug her heart into every live socket she passes, you'll come home to find your son has emptied the refrigerator, dragged it to the curb, and called the used appliance store for a pickup drug money. There's a Buddhist story of a woman chased by a tiger. When she comes to a cliff, she sees a sturdy vine and climbs halfway down, but there's also a tiger below. And two mice, one white, one black, scurry out and begin to gnaw at the vine. At this point, she notices a wild strawberry growing from a crevice. She looks up, down, at the mice, then she eats the strawberry. So here's the view, the breeze, the pulse in your throat. Your wallet will be stolen, you'll get fat, slip on the bathroom tiles of a foreign hotel and crack your hip. You'll be lonely. Oh, taste how sweet and tart the red juice is, how the tiny seeds crunch between your teeth.
Thank you. And this is my response. Good things are bound to happen. Your tomatoes will grow strong and abundant, and your cat will live to the age of 23. Someone will put the bag with the ice cream in a styrene cooler so it doesn't melt in the car. You'll remember to dry your cashmere sweater flat on a towel on your dining room table. Your husband will remain honest and faithful to you. Young girls will envy your marriage. Or your wife will love you with hot fierceness. Your other cat will survive even longer than the first. Your parents may die, but your happy memories of their support and understanding sustain you. If you take vitamins, do Pilates and yoga, walk each day, eat organic fruits and vegetables, even if you don't, your mind will remain clear and strong. You'll create art and poetry and sing your songs until one day you move to a new dimension. If your daughter is supportive of your dreams and visits often, your son will send you monthly income so you needn't worry about being low on funds. Ernest Holmes said, "We are all expressions of divine love, which manifests in and through each of us. In a world of plenitude, uncountable blades of grass, trees, flowers, ideas, poems, beings. Can you quantify sweet and tart wild strawberries planted in myriad open fields for your pleasure? So here's the truth, the energy, the vital voice in your throat. Your wallet is never empty. You journey to Paris, then visit a spa in Switzerland for a month. You always have fascinating, loving companionship. You peel and eat sweet mangoes in Hawaii. You enjoy every moment of your blessed life."